Hi everyone, this is gonna be a session breakdown, a mix breakdown of the studio version of Above and Beyond, this year's theme song for PYC. And we released this version as the lyric video back before the conference, so I know a lot of you have already heard this song and a lot of you were blessed by it, and so I wanted to share it with you along with a bit of the roller coaster of what production of this song was and how God really worked to make this thing happen. So let's get into it. This is completely raw.
I once walked with my head held high, believing I could do more on my own.
So first of all, let's listen to the vocal on its own. And I will just put some reverb on it so that it's not completely dry.
I once walked with my head held high.
The first thing I did was I put on Supertone Clear, which is just to get rid of any aircon noise if there is any. It's a studio environment, so there's not much, but I just wanted to be sure. And then next I put on an EQ. And there's some stuff happening around 1K, around 2K, around 5K, harshness, boxiness, nasality. So without it, it sounds like this.
I once walked with.
And with it, it sounds like this.
I once walked with.
So that is a massive difference, and that's why we EQ. So after EQ, I dropped on a fast compressor. What better one to use than the 1176? So it's adding a bit of gain, and then at the loudest part of the song, which is over here,
Am healed by his power he can do far above.
it's attacking the peaks, making sure that the vocal is consistent throughout the song. So I have it at a medium attack, the fast release, and the gain is just bumped up a tiny bit compared to without it.
I am healed by his power he can do for.
So that's what the 1176 is doing. It's making the vocal more consistent before we go into this optical compressor. The LA2A is used to glue the mix a bit more and gain stage so that it's at the correct level. So as you can see, the needle's not moving much, and then when we go to the end of the song,
I am healed by his power he can do far above.
so we're getting around 3 dB of gain reduction at the loudest. I'm also using this to set the overall level of the vocal so it sits well with the piano, because I'm already using a lot of fader automation to get rid of the breaths and get rid of some of the sibilants as well with the fader. So I just used the gain of the LA2A to just get the volume that I needed overall. Then next we have a pair of Pultecs, the EQ-P1A and MEQ. And what these are doing is adding body to the sound, to the vocal.
I once walked with. I once walked with.
So it's adding the low end back in that I shaved off, 100 and 300, and it's adding a bit of 10K, a bit of sparkle, a bit of 4K, and it's cutting 1.5K and 5K, which are those problem areas that I talked about earlier. And it's adding analog saturation or harmonics, which make the vocal sound more round. And so since I cut with dynamic EQ, so that it's just at the right level. When it's not needed, it's not there. And especially at the end.
God is able to do what he's promised.
So we have it acting as a de-esser. It's cutting at 1K, cutting at 240 areas that are problematic in the mix.
My head held high.
So when the voice doesn't have that much body, it's allowing that to come through. And when it has too much of the low end, it cuts it out for you. Then we have saturation.
I once walked with my head held
So it's pushing a bit of the low mids so that it's a bit more present in the mix. Here we have another LA2A, which is just shaving off barely.
Him healed by his power he can do.
So it's just shaving off 1 dB of gain, and it's gain matched. So it's just there to just glue the mix together. And then we have parallel compression.
My head held high.
So for parallel compression, I have an 1176 with medium fast attack and a bit of a slower release than the first one. And it's just adding a bit more of the compressed signal parallel to the normal signal of the vocal, and it's just adding a bit more presence. Then we have the reverb, which is this pure plate. And I have cut off all the low end and the high end so that only the mids come through in the reverb.
I could be, but the more I tried, the deeper I sank in sin.
So it's just adding sparkle. And yeah, that's the vocal. Let's move on to the piano. The piano was played by Kuya Andel Jolie on the PYC Yamaha grand piano, and I recorded it with a stereo pair of this, the LA 120s from Loughton. One was over the low strings, one was over the high strings, and I put it 3 inches above the hammers because I wanted it to be a really intimate, really close piano sound like you can hear here. So since it's a Yamaha Grand, it already sounds incredible. And so you might be asking, oh, so why do you have to even mix it? And the reason is because if I show you the vocal, how it sounds.
How could I forget that the greatest I could be?
Now that the vocal is mixed, it sits on top of the piano. It should just blend with the piano properly. And so now we have to mix. So the first thing I did was, especially at the end, this area, the 700 to 800 range really comes through, and a lot of the harshness at 2 and 5K. And there's a bit too much low end as well, around 200. So that's what this EQ is doing. Just shaping the curves, shaping the tone, sorry, shaping the tone of the piano so that it's not too much at any of these parts. And then we have a dynamic EQ doing almost the same thing, slightly different frequencies, hitting a bit lower than the EQ at 2K. Okay. And this is just carving these frequencies when they go too much. So without it sounds like that, and then with it sounds like this. So it's a bit more round again. Then we have an 1176. And it's not doing much, it's just gluing the biggest peaks, -1 dB. And the rest of the time it's just making the piano louder. And I have at the slowest attack and the fastest release so that it's allowing the attack of the hammers to come through, and it's allowing the body of the sound to swell. Shaping the transients, shaping the tone of the piano. Then we have a Pultec, which is adding harmonics at 100 and shaving a bit of the 5K area that's too present, and is adding sparkle at 10K. This is without it. It's just rounding the tone of the piano out again. And then finally we have an LA2A, which is doing around 1 dB of gain reduction again. And so with the piano, I wanted to be really, really dynamic. And I do have a bit of automation, but not much at all. The dynamics overall are where they need to be. So I just glued the piano together. And then we have another TDR Nova, which is attacking the high end again, which is overbearing over here. I wanted the piano tone to be really, really round to complement the vocal. And so that's what we did. And then with the reverb, it's at a bit of a longer reverb time than the vocal. Same reverb, but a bit faster pre-delay and a bit longer in decay time. And all of this was calculated using a reverb and decay calculator based on the tempo of the song. It's a free website. I'll just leave it in the description or put it on the screen for you to see. We have one more thing. I have a Century Tube channel strip. Adding warmth. That's a very controversial word, but for the sake of it, just warmth. It's adding 110 hertz. It's shaving off a bit at 2K and adding a bit of sparkle. And overall, it sounds like this, unmixed. And it just becomes a whole lot rounder and more consistent. And that's the point of mixing. And so altogether, fully mixed, it sounds like this.
God is able to do what He's promised.
And as a reminder, this is what it sounded like previously.
God is able to do what He's promised.
I absolutely love mixing. This is a joy that I find in mixing because you're just able to shape sound to be exactly how you want it. And particularly with this song, it's such a joy to hear the message come through so clearly, not only in the lyrics, but also the way it sounds. So that was a mix. And then next, I mastered it with a mastering chain, which is a few mastering compressors which are very transparent. Like they don't add anything whatsoever to the sound besides compressing. And so this is how it sounds without it.
His riches are untold.
The level of the song is not consistent overall. So we add
Is able to do what He's promised.
compress by 2 dB of gain in both and add 2 dB of makeup in the first. And then finally, ozone, limiting and shaping the tone of the sound a bit more. Without it, it sounds like this.
You will see God's power is made perfect in my weakness. His grace never.
So it just becomes a bit more cohesive. And that is the entire mix and master. With everything turned off, it sounds like this.
God is able to do. God is able to do what He's promised. His riches are untold. You will see.
And that is Above and Beyond, the studio version of Above and Beyond. And like I said at the start, it was just such a joy to be a part of this project. We started conceptualizing this over a year ago, just after the first conference ended. I put it forward to the music committee that we really should release a music video, a lyric video for the theme song, so that people would be familiar with the song and we would get to hear the theme song before the conference. It's been such a blessing to be a part of this because there were so many challenges in getting the right sounding piano for this track. At first we tried recording with a keyboard, but the gain was off, or there were different things that the keyboard didn't sound very good. And then I reached out to Kuya Andel and he agreed to record on the grand piano. It sounds so good. And this recording just turned out to be even better than I could have ever imagined it to be. God worked above and beyond to get it to how you've heard it to be on Facebook, yeah. It's been such a privilege to be a part of this project, and I'm happy that I got to share it with all of you. If you want to see more of me mixing, especially now that I've come a few months past this project, I've changed my workflow, I've changed DAWs to Reaper, and the way I've mixed has changed a bit. New plugins and whatnot. If you would like to see how I mix now, mix other songs, please let me know, and I would be very happy to make more of these videos for you. I hope you were blessed, and I hope you enjoyed seeing a bit into what I do, what the mindset behind this is, the thinking process. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. That's all. Thank you. Bye.